It is I. It is I, and it is you, and it is we. We are here together. And that could probably rhyme, but I'm going to stop myself before we go that far, because that's crazy. What is going on, Kurgan? Good to see you. We've got Black Fox in the house, Alinar, Fringe, Colonel Fouts, Wolfguard, Just Let Me Play, Cleric. Welcome indeed, Teglayan, Wiki Wacky Woo, Just Let Me Play. Good to see you guys. Salted Hash, Mordred, Yo Yo Yo, Phoenix Wolf, Canstrom, Tavi, good to see you. Arconis, good to see you as well. Velkinks, welcome. Welcome to you as well. And our friends in YouTube land also. We've got Dynamic Entry, Kazgul. We've got... Oof, that was a pain. We're good now, though. Sergio, Tolmart, Jared, Kazik. Welcome, Pygmalion. Welcome as well. Dennis, good to see you. Welcome to you all. Hope you'll add a lot of undead spells for the Cleric. Yeah, well, they do need a little bit of a fatter undead arsenal to handle all that juiciness. Indeed, indeed. Joppa, I have an honest observation. I feel like the limited toolbar reduces the unique feeling of a class because with such little space, you have to double up stats on buffs, which ends up feeling less individual. Now, if we could have buffs stay after removing the skill, I think that would help. Thoughts? I do agree that buffs dropping after the spell is removed from the bar is another one of those things. There's kind of a through line there between that and chevrons in a way, because it's like it's accomplishing a purpose. Like it's doing what it's designed to do, which is to make buffs feel, I guess, more weighty, and the limited action set feel more weighty. But I don't really like the way that it's accomplishing it. You know? That's kind of where I'm landing with that. So that's something that we're looking at. That's part of the overall spring update, is how exactly we want to handle that. Because yeah, you know. Oh, let me get my bearings here, because I want to talk a little bit about the Badia de Cara news. See where you guys are standing on that. Been curious. Yo, Kurgan with the 20 stream streak. Awesome. Thank you, Kurgan. That's really cool. And Cleric, by the way, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Huge thank you. 7 months of support. Appreciate that big time. Thank you, Cleric. No, Mari, that's not intended. That's something we need to fix. I feel like what I enjoy about EQ is the toolkit, and the limit on it just feels like my class is less unique and deep. That's all. Maybe it will be better when more spells are out. Yeah. Whoa. My mouse sensitivity. Goodness gracious. What happened there? Okay. That's a little better. Ooh. Okay. But I didn't want to get it into this just yet. There's something else I wanted to do first. So we'll get into buff stuff. We can pick that up again here in a sec, but I do want to talk a little bit about Badia de Cara. So what did you guys think? What did you think of the Badia de Cara, the info, the release, the update. Now, what's really important to emphasize here is that we're calling this, well, this article is a progress update on Badia de Cara. Kosa Ul is this island that you're seeing here, and this is one part of Badia de Cara. And I will say that it's, not all of Badia de Cara looks like this. So, yes. I wish we had a scale reference in here. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can get... Hold on. I want to see if I can get a scale reference here, because I think that's important. These are sunken pirate treasure and boat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up, Mr. Steel Rose? Good to see you. Hey, visibility. Welcome. More tropical than you expected, but I like it. I do too. I like that it is... I'm going to feel the same way when we get, deserts and stuff into the game. It's like... It's good to see more of the different biomes coming into play. I like that. Does Pantheon have a class that can tame animals for combat? Not exactly, no. The Ranger comes close. The Ranger will be able to beckon different animals for a short time in combat for various effects. But we don't have a class that actively, like the WoW Hunter, goes out and tames animals for pets. Hey, what's up, the 40-year-old? Good to see you. Yeah, Skiatch. That's exactly the reason why we do have to do something. This is a perfect example. I've had somebody come by, ask for an invis, you give them an invis, but if you don't leave it on the bar, and you take it off, then what good is that showing them? That's a good example of like how it's kind of serving its intended purpose, but it's doing it in a way that isn't working well with a lot of other things. Happened to you last play session? Yeah. Yeah, you can get us some trouble there if you're taking your invis off your bar right at the moment where someone needs it the most. Is the camera blurry, by the way? Do you guys... I don't want to like put any ideas in your head if it's not, but I'm just curious if the camera is looks blurry. Not crisp, but not blurry. Interesting. Had a little incident with one of my kids in my office earlier where they knocked something and there was a chain effect, a chain reaction that led to my camera getting knocked off the its little perch, and so let me just see something real quick. Is that any better? Okay, cool. We'll keep it like that then. I'll do like some finer tweaks when I'm not streaming. Okay, let's see. Let me get in here. Thanks for bringing us content so we can experience thalassophobia in a safe setting. Yeah, you bet. You bet. Yes, druids will be able to charm animals. That is true. Maybe I was thinking too much in terms of the WoW hunter type. So yeah, I mean, I guess druids is a good answer to that question. Okay, let me find what I need to find here. Okay. What's up, Green Jericho? Bear with me for a sec. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm trying to take a quick screenshot of something to put one of the Badia de Cara pictures we put out in the dev diary, put it into better perspective. Pet skins, huh? Come on now. Come on, Unity. You can do it. I believe in you. Okay. I want to try and line this up here with kind of how the shot was. Let me get the shot pulled up again. Okay. 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 All right. I think we got it. We got it. Now let me get out all this business so there's no spoilers. Okay. All right, so when I go back into game view here, then you guys will need to play the game of spot the player character, and that'll give you a sense of how. Again, just well, actually, before we do that, let's start. So here we go. So this is the newsletter or the dev diary, and we shared this picture. This is the one kind of underwater picture. Still very much, building these areas out. It doesn't have any of the flora in it yet or anything like that. But this is one of those shots where it can just be it can be difficult to tell the scale. So I went in, just did a quick picture with a player character in view so you can get a better sense of the scale. Can you see it? Yes, the little flea. The little flea. So did you say there would not really be underwater combat mobs? Oh no, there will be. It's just not going to be built in the same way that like overland areas are built. So yeah, for those of you still that haven't seen it yet, this right here, this is the player character right there. So just to give you a sense of the scale of this general area. Yes, Spectre, correct. That is correct. We are underwater. This picture is taken underwater. And yes, this crack in the ground, therefore, is even deeper than that. So yeah. For that. Okay. That's a nope. Yeah. No, there will definitely be underwater combat. There will definitely be, NPCs underwater and things like that. And there will be certain areas and certain pockets that, just like you have camps in the overworld, there'll be things like that. And then you'll have, we do plan to have underwater dungeons and things like that. The only thing that I've kind of gone on record as saying are two things. Number one, I don't know that we will have a fully underwater, completely underwater dungeon from start to finish, because I think it's interesting to have, just as part of dungeon design and world design in general, I think it's interesting to have a combination of like submerged and dry land gameplay, even within dungeons. So I don't know if we'll have a fully submerged 100% dungeon. And then the other thing is that we're taking cues from Subnautica and other games where we want the underwater experience in Pantheon to be somewhat unique in the sense that it's got, emphasis on exploration. It's got emphasis on, the ability to find certain things and to feel incentivized to explore underwater because of the kind of things you can discover and find. They could be, unique and rare resources. They could be shipwrecks, sunken treasure, could be, any manner of like perception related content. And then obviously there'll be things like rare spawns and, enemy camps and things like that. So charting the underwater area should be something that is, hopefully interesting and enticing to certain types of players. Not all types of players, resonate with that, but I think some definitely will. All right, let me catch up with chat a little bit. Chaticus. Oh my goodness, yeah, the one button WoW rotations, it's crazy. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know which one's worse, the one button WoW rotations or the, I don't know, something like the combat rogue in Wrath. I don't know. What's up, Helgear? Yeah, well, main speed, so the goal overall is that pressure would be universal. There would be areas that are uniquely more prone to pressure if there's like a magic user or someone kind of creating different pressure environments. But in general, pressure will be kind of a, just as you go deeper and deeper underwater, pressure is going to start to build. I'm really pleased with these shots. Okay, cool. Will we get a skill like tinkering or engineering in Pantheon? We'll definitely need a rebreather or 6. We'll see. We shall see. Back to Clericing. Yeah, look at that guy. That axe. Oh, yeah. Is there consideration of how to make underwater Z-axis less annoying when fighting mobs? My answer to that question, until we have more specific things to show and tell in relation to that, is with Kyle building it, I'm very confident. Because Kyle has built, you know, our current player character controller. You know, he's primarily the one behind, like, just how responsive, you know, things are in the game as it is. And he understands what we want in terms of, like, the pain points that are currently plaguing underwater in most games. So I have a lot of trust in him to get it right. But just so I'm clear on that, when we say Z-axis issues, we're talking like... I'm trying to think back to some like examples. So you like engage with something underwater, and it's... I know there were times in EQ where I'd be trying to like nuke something that was fleeing, and I would get an error message where the spell wouldn't land. What are some other ones that you guys can think of? I mean, target being out of range, though, that's like... What's something that's specific to an underwater problem? Yeah, I don't really want underwater areas to feel super cramped like that. I don't think that they're made better or more interesting or Whatever when they're super cramped. Yeah, what's up, Super Trash? Good to see you. I can feel his pain as he walks and talks to himself. I mean, Forest Foragers, if anything, they seem pretty happy, you know? They seem relatively good with themselves and things. I don't really know what I'm doing right now other than just... I see skeletons and I'm attacking them, and I see foragers and I'm attacking them. We need to get a game plan. We're level 6. We need to start pumping up some levels. Shining shield. I don't think we have any other spells that we need to get. I think we're all caught up. Yeah. Should probably sell. Tutorialize the space bar swim up. Wait a second. Enable auto attack on melee attack on any attack. There we go. So yeah, spacebar up. I don't have a key. Do I have a key for that chest? I don't think I do. I don't. Those look like keys. But they're beetle legs. I'm sure I could maybe try to pick the lock with those. Elgear, it's going away. It's almost not even worth answering because it's going away. It's just going away. I'm not gonna need keys for chests anymore. If you would swim at the same speed you run, what's the use of swim skill? Well, you'll still swim faster with higher swim skill. I don't think even trying these skeletons would be a good idea. Let me go sell, and maybe I can, I don't know, get another ability or two and see how we go. Yo, Super Trash, thank you so much for the membership. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. One of the big pain points in Kedge Keep was stopping to cast. It was hard to stop moving unless you were against a wall, and even then it wasn't 100% that you would stop so you cast. Okay, so I've already talked to Kyle about that part of it. And basically, even if there is a little bit of drag with movement, so like I'm holding forward, I'm swimming, I let go, and I come to a stop, the game is going to read for whether or not there is movement input happening. So even if you are haven't fully come to a stop, as long as you're not holding forward, then it's not going to treat it as if you're moving. Butterfly stroke at level at skill 200. That's awesome. We do have a plan for a key ring eventually, Dennis. Yeah. There's just so many more obstacles for LOS. When you enter a swimming volume, I think that has been my biggest pain point historically with MMO combat and water. I mean, we do typically use, when it comes to things like that, we often will use World of Warcraft as kind of a starting point, like a baseline for functionality. And I feel like they did a pretty good job with their underwater areas. In terms of like hit detection and LOS and the like. $12 silver. I really want Ward on Death. That comes at level 9. Level 9. I got Awakened Courage. Oh, I didn't get these yet. Remedy. Signet of Coursera. Diseases. I'll hold off on that one. We'll get this. Tome of Devotion. Okay. Tome of Fervor. Let's get that as well. How did I miss these? Huh. Okay. No healer discussion so far. No healer discussion so far. But we're getting close. Tome of Fervor, Healing Flicker. All right. Has Summoner already been reworked? It is in the process of being reworked right now. It is in the process. Oh, that's right. Torch slot. Okay, so we got increased divine damage. We've got our attributes increased now. I think we're cooking. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I've got a meeting tonight with Fuso to fully finalize the couple of remaining loose ends with the complete summoner kind of revisitation. And there's already a lot of programming work that's been going on to, you know, address the various different things that we're wanting to do for them and that they need. And yeah, hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to start looking a little more closely at them and what the new summoner experience will be like. Is this a mistake? I'm about to make a mistake here, aren't I? Well, actually, okay. That's a mistake right there. Bone Spike is a mistake. Invoking Bone Spike. Malcal! Bro, thank you so much for the Prime and the 8 months. Looking forward to this healer discussion. Gotta blast those ads the heck out of here. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's awesome. Passing by, just wanted to say I'm extremely hyped for the spring update. Seems to address most of the pain points I have with the game now. Looking forward to it. Keep up the great work. Awesome, Chaz. Thank you so much for that message. Appreciate it. We need less healers. What do you mean you need less healers? What? Well, so one of the things we have to address when it comes to chests in general is that they're just way too predictable. We need a better approach for things like that in the world in general, just to make them actually more of just a surprise, something to find that can be found. They're way too predictable, and they became, you know, that plus the fact that, you know, the crafting recipes were inside of them, they became like necessary for crafting progression, and that plus how predictable they were, it just put them into a place where they were never intended to really go. So we're going to be doing some things differently for both like crafting recipes and how those are attained. And there's a few other ideas that we're developing for, you know, I'll say I'll say treasure chests for one, you know, how we want to handle treasure chests in the world and how those are found and how valuable they are. And, but then other like incidental things that you can just stumble upon while traveling and exploring, they need to be more truly rare and random, you know? Two's fine. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Are any other classes getting a major rework, or do you feel like the rest are in a good core spot? It may just need smaller tweaks, if anything. Trying to think if I would describe any of them as like a major rework. There are definitely some things that need to be kind of recalibrated a little bit here and there in some of the different classes. And when you have mastery coming in, you have, in many ways, mastery is kind of the, I don't know, the vehicle through which classes will soon kind of change and evolve a little bit from what they are now. Summoner's the one that's like, yeah, I would say Summoner's really the one that is uniquely going through kind of a more of a, like a true rework. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sorry, I was just kind of processing that out loud a little bit. But yeah. It is hard to program randomness. There's that new heal. Feels good. Metamorphosis. Yes. Yes. Well, and when I say major rework or whatever, I mean more kind of just like, yes, Paladin needs work. Warrior needs work. There are still classes that are missing some of their abilities in their kit and things like that. So definitely still all that kind of work to do, really, on all the classes to get them fully finished. Summoner is the one that we're kind of going back to the drawing board a little bit with, if that makes sense. To a degree, you know, it's not fundamentally at its very root. It's not going to be like unrecognizable, but it will be. Okay, guys, yeah, let's all come. Sure. Yeah, this is fine. I'm not worried about this at all. Not one bit. Yeah, we'll be able to talk about some of the tweaks, some of that on that level coming up in the spring with things like, you know, is dex still going to be really important for paladins, and is agility still going to be really important for warriors and things like that. What role is mastery going to play in, you know, kind of the soft specking, and there's a lot of good info to talk about there soon. Hey, what's up, Nicodemus? Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, I just took on 4 mobs at a glacial pace, but nonetheless. And I'm going to be ending up at a pretty decent spot health and mana wise. I'm going to be honest, I was not expecting that. When they all pulled, I was expecting to not be able to survive that, but we did. I'm still very much getting a feel for the Cleric here. As some of you know, some of you may not know, Cleric is typically my main. Healers, I almost always main a healer. And I do tend to gravitate towards the Cleric type healers. Healers that can wear plate and get a little bit up into the fray. So, but surprisingly, it's been actually a while since I've really done like a deep dive on Cleric, from the initial design to kind of where they are now. I've been accused of, well, accused really isn't the right word. There's been murmurs of, is Joppa going to make the Cleric like super OP because that's his favorite class, that kind of thing. And the answer is no. No, I am not. But they do need to be good. They need to feel good. So, a couple of initial thoughts. Well, hello there. A couple of initial thoughts on the Cleric is, number one, there's a tension between the Paladin and the Cleric. Lore-wise, Paladins used to be Clerics and have kind of thrown off the the cleric order to go forth and meet vengeance on their own, kind of on their own terms. So part of the design process has been, you know, where do clerics end and paladins begin and vice versa in terms of their kits, and part of the process we'll be doing on our healers, but also as we're working through tanks and whatnot. Oh, this is bad news. I knew this guy was here too, and I just kind of fumbled right up to it. Should we try this? Should we take it? Can we do it? Joe, the mentor, thank you so much for the Prime sub and the 15 months of support. Excited for spring and the Summoner update? Yeah. Me too. I think this is a run situation, guys. I think this is a big run situation right here. That is definitely a run situation. This is orange. That is orange. Oh. There we go. Regulars on it. I may have ran prematurely. I may have. I didn't want to take any chances. I didn't want to take any chances with that one. What's up, Gronzik? What's up, Grix? One of the tensions is how do paladins and clerics deal with undead? Breaketh not. No, I don't. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not, like, all of the classes still need to be ultimately finished, and that's the goal right now. Come spring, is mastery is being introduced. Mastery is going to have a massive kind of impact on the different classes and you know, how they progress, and there are still classes that are missing certain abilities, either, you know, lower level abilities that haven't been included yet, and then also, you know, certain classes don't have abilities above, you know, level 40 or whatnot. So yeah. I think I'm gonna try to go up here onto the little Gadai hill. He thought you spotted an ogre bandit boss Bob. It surprised me too. I just kind of popped in. There was a split second there. Clerics having tomes is really cool. They're bright though. It'd be cool if the brightness was determined by the cleric level. Low level clerics should be dim. Yeah, I'd like to rethink how we do the tome, to be honest. I'm not in love with it currently. We do have a lot of plans for tomes with clerics, so it's something that we want to kind of beef up the theme of it a little bit, but I want to think through some different ways of portraying it, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, so this is cool. These are my level. Let's just do it. I want to tone it down a bit. Yeah, definitely. No, don't be sorry, Jared. It was cool. It was a cool ogre moment. Easy peasy. Yeah. Yeah. The old tome flying away into the distance trick. That's all right, I can take you. Lag. We good, we good. I'm not gonna run, we got this. I believe. I believe. It's gonna be a little bit of a long fight, though. I need a better weapon. I also don't have my poison cure memorized, so I was not prepared. I was not prepared at all, in the least. I think we're good, though. Yeah. Yeah, the other player heard me say I believe, and he was like, oh, he's fine. He's fine. I could not even come close to healing an HC group right now. Not even close. Not even close. Okay. Sweet. No loot. Worth. Okay. Let's met up here for a sec. Yo, Swag. Thank you so much for the Prime. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Renum, that's definitely on the right track. We want the Cleric to have a little bit more of that battle Cleric vibe. And that's what I was getting at earlier when it comes to the line that the Paladin and the Cleric walk, making sure that there's like enough meaningful distinction between the two. Definitely still want Clerics also to have the ability to hang back and heal from a distance, because that's a totally viable way to play and heal and whatnot. And you'll probably see Mastery kind of allow for, you know, accentuating one of those two playstyles a little bit more. But yeah, I personally love the idea of being able to get in close, heal through melee. I think that's a really cool way to play the Cleric and really emphasize that plate armor and all that good stuff. What will never happen? What was that? I missed it. You're always going to have a pet out, then why does the pet spell take a permanent slot? Same for any buffs for the pet. You're always going to have a tome. Why have it take a permanent slot? I see. Yeah, like the Hammer of Wrathline. That's something I'd like for us to experiment with a little bit. Because if I remember correctly, the hammers that clerics, that EQ clerics could summon were not bad. They weren't bad. Yo, what's up, Mr. Babinski? Good to see you. I do want a better one-hander, but I'm not going to accept it from... Like, I have to find these things myself in the game. Where's that boar that drops the branch? Am I high enough level to solo that boar? I forget. What level is it? Level 8? Oh, I could probably handle that. I don't know. Maybe once I hit 7, we'll go, because we're almost there. I don't know if it'd be a good idea, because I don't think I'd be able to like fight anything else in the area, so we'd just be sitting there. I don't know what level the placeholder is either for it. We'll go check it out here in a second. Yeah, Soggy, I agree. I think we're gonna go a different route. Not yet, Skiach, no. Crushing blows, no. I also really love using two-handed weapons as a cleric. A two-handed hammer wielding cleric healer. I think that'd be really fun. Oh! Oh! Okay, I think we're gonna get this one regardless. It's okay. We're good. We can handle it. Pull you back here just a tad. There we go. All right. We're good. I know last time we were talking about the crushing blow audio, where if you got hit really hard and it did enough, you know, a certain portion of damage of your health and damage, that you would hear like a crushing blow kind of sound effect. The Forgotten Bowman is up. Yeah. Oh, the boar's level 13. Well, there you go. So we got a little ways to go then. I don't think I'm going to try to take on a level 13. I don't think I'm going to try it. I feel good, but not that good. This feels like a pretty decent little spot, though. I bet Larkstrop's a nice weapon that a cleric could use. It's probably camped, though. So who would you guys say is the best healer right now? Oh, it's stormy. Let's start with just for general grouping. Who are you taking if you had your choice of equally skilled players, cleric, druid, shaman? Who are you taking to do some group play? Shaman. Cleric for healing, cleric. Shaman has best debuff and pets. Hard to imagine taking anyone other than a cleric healing a full group of 50 content. Clutch. Cleric or Shaman love the buffs. With a Pally you can extra DPS. Yeah, a lot of people saying that they enjoy Paladin healers. Clerics, they get a lot of free heals if used correctly. Oh, look at that. Hey. Hey. Okay. All right. I'll take that grass weave tunic. Yes, I will. Nice deep shade of brown there. It's perfect. Cleric is very mana efficient if set up right. That's what I'm hoping to see. I mean, the shield definitely seems very strong, for sure. And the fact that between Prayerful Rest, Labored Blessing, I can, you know, have good mana back. I don't even have the mana on hit tome or anything. It is mostly all shaded brown right now, yeah. Ooh, +1 stamina gloves. I already have those. I don't think I realized, I'm assuming all this stuff's dropping off the recruiters. I didn't realize there was actually this much statty stuff to get off the recruiters. I can't see. I'm gonna go down here though. Oh, okay. We're good. We're good. Pretty sure it's camped. Pretty sure it's camped. Wait a second. Ah. Aha. Yeah. I'd say it's camped. It is. It is spin, and I love it. Okay. Oh, oh. All right, we're good. We're good. Nobody panic. Everything is good. Shaman has lost all of its most powerful things to other classes. Cleric is the healer that has shields and stat buffs that no other class brings. Enchanter Haste is better. Necro slows are better. Rogue debuffs are just as good. My question is, what does Shaman bring that no other class brings better now? So, that's a good question. There's some different things to break down there. One of them is, so I think we could all agree, we should all agree anyway, that Shaman, I don't know why for a second this looked like two purple eyes staring at me. I felt like I was about to get jumped by something. We absolutely need stuff like that. That moment, literally, we need to recapture where something is like almost like a shadow creature or something that's like very dark, like almost like doesn't even have any detail in its texture. It's just very dark and like blends in, but it just has these like really piercing eyes as you get close. That would be scary. Very scary. We should all agree anyway that Shaman had a pretty crazy kit, and Shamans were, you know, there's a lot of history there with Shamans. It's the first class that we implemented, you know, and I ended up putting a lot of different things on the Shaman to kind of test drive them and, you know, try to kind of achieve what I was hoping to achieve with them, which was kind of a very bard-like class that, you know, ended up, yeah, getting to the point where they could just do so many different things well. And one of the interesting things about the Cleric, Shaman, Druid paradigm with EQ is, in EQ, one of the things that allowed for Druids and Shaman to have so much, you know, so many offensive options, so much utility, all these different things, is because their healing was not up to par. Their healing wasn't as good as Cleric healing. And a lot of that was, guys, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm meandering. A lot of that was offset by you know, all this other utility and support stuff that they had. And so when you have a situation like we have where we're trying to create some parity between cleric, shaman, and druid healers so that they can all capably heal, we have to be careful about how much additional utility that they have. And a lot of that manifests in buffs and how powerful buffs are. Some of it manifests in debuffs, how powerful things like slow is and where it's found. Did clerics have spell haste in EQ? I don't remember that. Yeah, that must have been much later on. I don't remember spell haste. For clerics anyway. I don't even remember spell haste as a stat in EQ for a while. Hold on one sec, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think spell haste was a thing in EQ for a while. I don't remember that even up through Velius. Oh. Ghost Viper, okay. Haven't fought one of these yet. On the cleric, I don't know what that means. What's coming? Gray Howler, okay. Come on, everybody. Yep. Come on. That's level 8. We're not gonna mess with that. We are not gonna mess with that. In fact, I'm going to... We're gonna do this. That was probably a mistake, but we're gonna do it anyway. Here we go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna run. Oh, we're gonna run. Around POP or DOD? Yeah, okay. That sounds more... That makes sense. Okay, we're good. Can you speak a little about what's going on with Haste and how long it's planned to be disabled? I'm not going to talk about how long. I don't think it's going to be for an extended period of time. I just know that there were a lot of things that we needed to clean up. There was a good amount of legacy kind of code in the way we were handling Haste and how it was differentiated between melee and spell and that kind of stuff. So we're cleaning a lot of that up. Hopefully be back in. I know it'll be for sure working by spring, but whether it'll slip in before then or not, we'll see. It should, though. I'm just being very conservative about it. Yeah, slow, haste, dots, healing, res, pets, cannibalize. They could do a lot. I mean, they could do a whole heck of a lot. I mean, that's why you saw, you know, shamans soloing dragons and things like that eventually. That's what happens when you can do all of those things as a single class. And we have to, you know, we've got bards coming in the game. We've already got enough going on with our various buffs that, you know, the few clicky items that are in the game have so dramatically like overblown what, you know, kind of damage output and whatnot players are capable of, that a lot of what we're working on in preparation for the reset in spring and kind of all of these updates is getting all these things much more kind of under control, balanced, and making sure that, you know, things are spread in a way that is fair. Because at the end of the day, like, again, if you're playing a class for like to heal, to be a healer, then that's primarily what you need to do. Like, that's your main role. How you heal, how efficiently you heal, the different options you have for healing, things like that. That's really primarily what you are bringing to a group, and the desire that we have for all of the healing classes to be able to do it well, so that there aren't some that feel like you need to be paired with like a second healer in order to do it fully. And then we need to be, and are being, you know, very thoughtful about what kind of additional offensive options, utility options, things like that the healing classes have. And obviously, as always, taking a lot of cues from EQ, but at the same time, you know, understanding that it's not going to necessarily be able to be like a drag and drop kind of a, you know, situation. But I don't disagree that shamans, you know, need some help. They need some help as it is right now. And by help, I mean like they need to feel more of that carved identity. I do still want to preserve shaman as the kind of the hot healing class. I think it works really well for them. I think they're, you know, built for it. It's, you know, kind of intrinsic to their DNA. But I think beyond their healing, they need to have a little bit more of a carved sense of what they bring. And they do. I mean, they have dots. They do have some of these other things. It's just that they are right now overshadowed in pretty much every category. It'd be nice to find, you know, a place where they really excel. And that's the thing too to remember. I mean, mastery is kind of in the back of my head anyway. It's this kind of constant like reminder that, you know, there are going to be ways for players to lean more into some of these things than others may choose to. Why not make all classes, or why make all classes so good at healing? Why not keep Cleric as main healer and other two more mixed? I mean, it just creates a situation where you need a Cleric. Like, the Cleric's the only... I mean, I main Cleric, I love Clerics, but I don't want Cleric to be the only, like, main healer. I think all three classes should be able to main heal and you know, bring a competitive healing game. The Great Vendini, yes. Imbue trait is still planned for druids, yes. But that, again, that's part of like how we're working out a lot of this is we want classes to have good buffs. We want them to have a variety of buffs in some cases. And But if we give too many buffs to any single one class, then, you know, we run into an issue. So, you know, we're wanting to think through other kinds of buffs beyond what we have already, to kind of build a little bit more variety of what they could do. I love this music. Sorry, just grabbed me. Oh, music too loud. Okay. Sorry about that. The hot healing is fine. They need some way to hold out in emergencies other than the hurry pass. Pre-35 shaman feels great after that, and especially with any mob that reduces healing done, it feels awful to be a shaman healer solo healer. It's good feedback. What is it specifically that makes it take a turn for the worse? Just dealing with spike damage in general? Okay. So that's another thing to just kind of keep in your general psyche, those of you that are thinking about the current state of healers. One of the things that we are committed to doing for spring is overhauling the whole, like, cleanse, dispel system in the game. We're currently, like, you know, it's just a mess. And your ability to heal through things like poisons, things like, you know, healing debuffs, stuff like that. You know, you want to imagine a world in which these things can actually consistently be dispelled and cleansed and dealt with that way. Oh no. Being buffed. I've kind of like gone a little bit more lax on buffs because I do want to be able to, you know, get through all these classes in some kind of a reasonable time frame, you know. So I'm not as opposed to buffs as I was at the beginning of these playthroughs. Let's get some mana back. I know the Dwarven god is alive and lives in the city, but do the dead or missing deities have a lore connection to clerics and healing? They do, yes. Oh yeah, Dougbug. Yeah, Coursera. That's why the tomes are so important to the cleric, because the tomes are essentially how they kind of that's their connection to what their kind of ruling celestial has said, and where they get a lot of their power, the specific writs and edicts and like blessings and various things come from these tomes and these written, basically like scriptures essentially is what the tomes are for the cleric. Yeah. Okay, so the cleric shield has this kind of like unique bonus and benefit to it, and that it's not currently like other things, it's not reduced by healing debuffs. No return. Oh yeah, I didn't even return buff, did I? Wow, I am a big heaping bowl of dog water. I'll do that after this fight. I need to get used to using my, I forgot I keybound that shift mouse for. Okay. I'm going to say right now, one of the things that would make this experience on the cleric feel so much better is to have a self-only summoned weapon line, and for it to be a two-handed hammer. Yep. So you're not summoning it for other people, it's not tradable or anything like that. And I don't care if it's slow, as long as it like hits hard. I think that'd be nice. Shaman and Druid and EQ at higher levels got fast heals that did bigger healing but took more mana. Could put something in like that so it's not used all the time, but in case of spike damage. Yeah, and we talked about this, Mark and I talked about this recently because the Shaman used to have their hand line. So they had the Mantle line, and then they had like Mantle of Mist and Hand of Caius was their first of their hand line, and that was a direct heal that did bonus healing if the Mantle line was currently rolling on the target. And so we talked about the fact that we might need to bring back a direct heal, but you know, we're trying really hard to keep the kind of we want the healers to all feel really unique and different from each other, to the degree that, you know, potentially taking away Light Shroud from clerics, because clerics between their heals and their shields and their direct heals really don't need a hot. And then in turn, you know, maybe buffing Replenish, or, you know, kind of leaning even more heavily into like the Shaman over time, just to make sure that there's a good distinction between those two. Because then you got like the Pulse AE healing of the Druid, you've got the Verdant Fire Seed, you've got Talisman, even though Talisman is insane. That keeps all three healers feeling nicely like distinct. And then it's just about kind of slotting in where they get their specific utilities and what those are. Replenish sucks, that's the biggest issue. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. Oh, that's right, because we moved Replenish to a channeled spell. Forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I love Talisman. I think it's ended up working really, really well as an ability concept, you know, and it fits really well in the Druid kit. It's just too strong. It's just crazy strong. Hey, Jadden, thank you so much for the Prime sub and the 2 months of support. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that so much. How did the haste changes hurt them specifically? Whew, I love that, man. I love that heal. Boom. Man, these recruiters out here making it rain with the gear. That's one of the things that we're fixing with the haste stuff is the way that it was adversely affecting anything over time. And with the changes that we're making to haste in general, once we bring everything back in the spring, you'll have your different sources of haste. So you'll actually have item haste, you know, both melee and spell. You'll have buff haste, both melee and spell. And then we're building in, you know, plan for bard haste to be able to sit on top of that. As kind of an additive layer. I'm gonna see if I can get Larks here. I doubt it, but we're gonna try. When you getting cooldown reduction, hey, you know? I mean, even just getting in like plus fire damage, plus cold damage, plus divine damage, plus poison damage, things like that through itemization is going to be so nice. There's a cool parry. Nice to hear parry. Are they going to be able to... Oop, are they going to be able to... Blah, 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 blah. I said exactly what I meant to say there. Are shaman going to be able to pick their pet type? It's more likely that it'll be the kind of thing where, depending on your race, it will be different. I don't know if we're going to go all the way to, like, just letting you pick a pet type. When will bards exist? We have not announced when bards will exist yet. Not yet. Will Chronoburn be coming back for Shaman? Yes. In fact, we are going to be totally changing the way mana return works for our healers and moving away from this mana back technique. We're going to be getting back to Chronoburn. We're going to be leaning more into the tome stuff for clerics for their mana back options. And we'll have more to say about the druid as well. But yeah. Yep. Yeah, me too. That's one of the things I really enjoyed in EQ that I didn't even really put my finger on. You know, certainly not while I was playing it actively, but you know, you really do have to pay attention to your mana usage during combat, because either you're wanting to preserve mana so you're more ready for the next fight. Oops. Or just for, you know, just the longevity of the fights in general, to make sure that you got enough in the tank to handle it. And I miss that approach versus the, you know, how many things can you kill before you run out of mana, and then it's like you get your mana back so quick you don't even really care about it. But bards do exist? Well, they don't exist yet. They exist on paper. They exist in plan. But they don't exist in the game. They also exist on tooltips. But there is, we do have a date for bards internally. And we, in light of that date for bards, we have a date for bard implementation to begin. But we've not announced those yet. Your love for bards is contagious, and it's painful how little progress we see with them against how much you talk about how cool they will be. I know. I mean, listen. I know. And I feel that as well. I can't wait for bards. I mean, it's it will compete with the cleric for my main slot. I cannot wait. So I know it sucks to wait. I know. Is that internal date sooner or later than the internal date from 1.0? Oh, yeah, I mean, bards, it is sooner than that. Yeah. Will the Singing Steel sword exist in Terminus? When are bow staffs going to be fixed so they hit twice? You know what? We are actually going to change bow staffs to not hit twice. We're going to change bow staffs to be a little bit more in line with normal staffs, but just a little bit, you know, just more melee oriented. The whole like hitting twice thing has just done nothing but cause headaches and make it to where most monks just never even want to look at a bow staff. So we're gonna be making bow staffs a lot better. I'll say that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but we can handle all that through balance. Less hit means less procs is something that we can handle through balance. In terms of like how much, like what the procs do and whatnot. I'm buffing. I'm return buffing. I think it's going to feel a lot better than current two-handed bow staff skill. And again, I know I keep saying it. I know I sound like a broken record, but these are all opportunities for mastery to come into play, for monks to, you know, be able to take things like bow staffs even further, to, you know, improve proc chances with bow staffs, to, you know, the whole 9 yards. Hold on one sec, guys. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Same gloves. Same gloves. Let me go get my body back before we go too deep into this. Let's do that first. Boom. Not really getting anywhere there, friend. All right. I'm gonna have to delete most of this. Okay. On your 6, yeah, I mean, that's actually something that I'm kind of pushing for us to improve on and think about a little bit as we're developing new areas, and then we'll, as we come back in and backfill other areas. But yeah, like more incidental, like, bro, this is just drives me crazy. Cabins, traveling merchants, you know, things that you can happen upon as you're going out and about, that would become, yeah, places that you could sell and whatnot. Places that have shifting inventory, so they're worth running by and checking and things like that. Mr. Babinski, I would recommend Discord for that. Yep. We've got a channel dedicated for that. Let me grab this guy before he wanders off. Take care of him first, so we don't get him wandering into our fight like last time. If you could please drop your hammer as well, that would be much appreciated. My goodness, waylay. Ooh. Keeping that shield up, man. This fight may not be doable because of waylay. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and make an executive decision here that this fight would not be doable. Will not be doable. I don't have enough damage. Output, yeah. Did he, like, he teleported to me, didn't he? Yeah. Yep. So that's something, actually, you know what? I'm gonna make a note of that because it's another one of those, like, hey, here's a situation where this behavior is like really bad, really problematic. Joskar, yeah, I know. I know. NPCs holding what they will drop. Well, the reason mobs teleport like that is because when you are in a situation where you've gotten the mob to a place where it can't reach you, they teleport to avoid cheesing. But yeah, when you're legit trying to run away and you happen to jump off a cliff in your efforts to get away, and then it just, like, you know, jumps 100 meters to your position, we got to figure that out. MMOs, man, they're just this constant waterfall of implications and implications within implications and edge cases and things you didn't expect, you know? And then you get players involved, and it's like players do all of the things that you never would have ever imagined. Sometimes they do it accidentally, you know? Yeah, it allows for mob side cheesing. That's right. So we've gone back and forth on the whole, like, NPCs holding the weapons that they drop thing. I'm trying to remember what got us where we are today on that. Yeah, they should just reset. Hey, what's up, Lone Dog? Good to see you. I know some of it was animation. Some of it was animations. So, you know, what do you do when you have something like a skeleton or an orc or, you know, something that doesn't necessarily have, like, the proper animation for the weapon that they potentially will drop? And that on the surface might sound weird as a consideration, but I'm trying to think of a good example. So, oh man, my brain. This is one, I'm like reaching into one of those kind of like obscure parts of the project that, you know, has changed from time to time over the years. So I'm trying to, like, think of the best way to encapsulate it. Take like take something like a Black Rose guard. Let's just go there. So Black Rose Guard. The way that the loot tables for NPCs are set up is... Thank you for the sub, by the way. Thank you. I'm gonna... Buffs here, buffs. Buffs for everybody. Buffs. Yeah, so take like a Black Rose Guard, for example. Black Rose Guard has, you know, we want them to always spawn with a weapon, because that's more thematically consistent. Black Rose Guard holding a shield, holding a sword. Now, does that mean that they're always going to drop a sword every time you kill them? And are they actually genuinely attacking with what they're holding? Meaning, does their damage output need to be commensurate with the item that's in their hand? And if that's the case, then that means we have to have... It's coming back to me now, some of the weird edge cases that kind of got us in a bit of a tangle. But try, like, follow me here. So NPCs are not set up in Pantheon to do damage purely based on the weapon that they're holding. They do more damage than that, right? They do more damage than that. Some of that's coming from the template and, you know, some of the things behind the scenes that are adding to the damage output of pets. Whoa, guys, thank you so much. Lone Dog with the resub, the Prime, and the 6 months of support. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Tam Crude as well with the Prime. Thank you so much, Tam Crude. Thank you, guys. That is hugely appreciated. Thank you, thank you. So, you know, the damage that a level 30 NPC is doing, for example, is set to be a certain amount. Level 30 NPCs have a certain amount of damage output that they do through their auto attacks, their hits, and what their abilities are built off of. And it's based off the weapon that they're using, which is just kind of an unarmed hand-to-hand weapon class that governs all of their outgoing damage. Now, I have gone through and I have made weapon versions, like actual weapon model versions of those same parameters, so that if we need a level 30 sword, if we need a level 30 dagger, level 30 mace, you know, we have all of those to choose from and can visually depict them. So when we have a guard, a Black Rose Guard that, you know, should be wielding a weapon, we have level appropriate versions of those weapons. Now, if you kill a Black Rose Guard and it drops that weapon is not going to be tuned for players. That is not going to be tuned for player damage. So they would have to drop a different weapon than what they were holding, what they were actually had equipped, so that it would be something a player could loot and wield, and it would be an appropriately tuned weapon. That's one issue that, you know, is something we've needed to resolve. And it gets a little more, you know, a little deeper when we get into like how, again, taking something like EverQuest and something like Pantheon, how weapon damage feeds into like ability calculations and various things for players and NPCs, and you know, why essentially giving... I'm not saying it's impossible. We could definitely tune the NPC templates and some of the things that govern NPCs in such a way that they could literally just take a weapon appropriately statted for a player in a certain level range and use it, and it would do, you know, everything it needed to for the NPC. But then the other side of the problem is just the sheer amount of loot. Because if you gave an NPC a weapon that would be appropriate also for a player at that level, and it dropped it, and you have things like Black Rose Guards where you want them to always have a weapon because thematically it makes more sense that they always have a weapon. Or even two weapons if it's dual wielding, then you start running into, okay, well, every NPC you kill in this area is dropping weapons. And there are so many weapons dropping that are good weapons, like they're level appropriate weapons. Because we've even toyed with the idea of like, well, what if they drop like a broken version or something so we can substantiate them having it. And it's just, and EQ didn't really have that problem because most of their NPCs, none of their NPCs were really built with like, guards always had fine steel, yes, but I used guards as a just kind of a category. I didn't mean like, I'm talking like all the Black Rose NPCs really make sense to have weapons that they drop. So imagine going into like, I don't know, Khazak-Thul, and every single lizard man had one like always had a weapon, and some of them were dual wielding weapons. Why am I back here? Why did I come back here? Where's my corpse? Oh yeah. How many times have we said that? Where's my corpse? Where did I die? That one I'd already looted. I've got two corpses actually. The other one I think's over here, yeah. Yeah, I think it is an EQ song. But Paul knows I'll drop 1 to 2 weapons. I mean, I'll raise it again and see if it's something that we want to take another shot at. Because I don't disagree. I don't disagree. As far as the feel. Yo, what's up, Virtuous? Waiting for the wipe? You're in good company, my friend. Did you manage to come to a conclusion regarding pet roulette? Yes. But I will talk more about it at a later time. But yeah. There's probably some kind of trickery we could do where, like on the loot table, like in the editor where we edit loot tables and stuff, where we would have an option to say like even just a checkbox or something where it's like if the mob spawns with this particular item. Hey, hold on 1 sec, guys. Where we could kind of override the visual and say, okay, show this item. So if they spawn in with, you know, the Sword of 1,000 Truths or whatever, it would just know to visually override whatever was, you know, set as their held weapon to show that that's there. But yeah, I mean, once Rip Smack looks really cool, as an example, it definitely would be great to see Hisser spawn in holding Rip Smack. Oh! Would that mean a guaranteed drop? Only if it's like rolled it in their loot table. So you'd still have just the chance of whether they would have it or not, whether they would drop it or not. It's just saying if they do roll that item in their loot table, then it would depict it in their hand. I really want to hit level 8, guys. I feel like I've wandered and meandered so much on this character so far, which, you know, it's fine. Seeing kind of a different side of things here. It is kind of tripping me out a little bit too, because I've updated so many of the NPC models around here, like Apprentice, Oliver, and you know, all the new dialogue and stuff on NPCs. Keep forgetting to have that key bound. Oh, that's Iris. Yo. Whew. The images of Badia de Cara on Steam look very good. Nice. I'm glad to hear that you think so. Just one. Okay. Cool. Faction will, like, more fleshed out faction stuff will most likely be part of the summer update. I would expect it then more so, and that too will be kind of a process. So it won't be kind of like a one day it's just now suddenly all there. But I would expect more of kind of the first round of that to be in the summer. I have to see, Jad, and I can't really say time frame wise when to expect it. I don't want to set any false expectations just yet. But we should have more info coming soon. We should have more coming soon. Yeah, we're just gonna stay here and hammer out level 8. Yo, what's up, Seth? Here. Once I hit 8, I actually want to do, so what we're getting like right at 60 FPS. Let me actually take desync off. I want to see, so just playing Pantheon, nice. Oof. Glad you made it, Drew. Test. Yeah, he wasn't messing around. Once I hit level 8, I'm gonna hop onto the dev server and see. There's some, I think, some performance improvements that Kyle was working on. Just want to see if we see any difference in FPS or performance over there. Was that a pun because you're using a hammer? I mean, maybe. Maybe. There's the recruiter. Pull this back just a tad. Will there be more character animation passes? Both to add additional animations, additional animation variations, and then to improve and polish the current ones, yeah. All right, let's see if we can get this recruiter real quick. That could be a fun hook if there was a sword of haste. It could override the default sword and apply a haste trait or whatever on the mob. But if they didn't have the sword of haste, it wouldn't have the trait. Yeah. Yeah, I know that there was something that definitely took it to the next level in EQ when you had like the frenzied ghoul and you had you know, the what's going on with my wait. Yeah, the frenzied ghoul, you had, you know, specific procs that would happen if an NPC had a particular weapon that they dropped, like actually equipped. Dude, my mouse is like, what is going on? This is an elite NPC. In case you guys are wondering. Yeah. What's going up with my mouse? It's like... There we go. That's a little better. I hit the mystery button that moved my pointer speed down, like way down. Dude, it is so slow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, that took it to the next level in EQ when you felt that and you saw the item. So if it was the short sword of the Ukesha and you're getting procced with that effect, or the haste belt and you've got the frenzied ghoul like all of a sudden attacking like crazy fast. So, but it's one of those things where it's like, when do you start hitting that point where you have an NPC that has its own abilities and buffs that go beyond like what they had in EQ, with just a more kind of varied arsenal of abilities that NPCs have. Then you have NPC traits on top of that. And then you potentially have like different synergies with different NPCs in the vicinity. And then you potentially have this additional layer of like the weapon that they're holding. And it's a lot, you know. It can become a lot. I keep meaning to rebind over here too. That would have been really helpful had I done that, you know. But that's part of streaming, right? You don't think about stuff. There are really only 2 tomes available right now, yeah. Hey, one sec, guys. Sorry about that. Notice there seemed to be a lot of iron-willed... Wait. Okay. I've noticed there seems to be a lot of iron-willed mobs. Is that just random? I feel like they should be... Okay. Yeah. You're seeing a lot of iron-willed mobs because there's only a few trait types that are in the game right now that NPCs have even a chance to spawn with. So yeah, I expect there to be considerably more trait types that NPCs can spawn with come spring. Some of them will make NPCs stronger in combat. Some of them will be actually beneficial for the player that they could spawn with. So you're going to just be seeing a whole lot more variety of different traits that NPCs can spawn with. And then we'll be, you know, tweaking the chance that NPCs actually spawn with traits and things like that as well. We also have always intended for, you know, certain traits, especially the ones, or specifically the ones that make NPCs stronger, to actually provide like an experience bonus as well. Yeah, it seems like there's a ton of iron-willed because there's just a small kind of selection of traits currently that they can spawn with, and so you end up seeing that one a lot more than you should. Wait, you don't think while streaming, is that a thing? It's different for different people. I very much feel, and I think it's probably my ADD that works against me in some ways. I feel like streamer brain is definitely a thing, at least for me, where I struggle to put a whole lot of like processing power into what I'm actually doing unless I'm focusing hard on what I'm actually doing, which usually means I'm not really engaging with you guys at all. So it's like, I play very differently when I'm playing just, you know, in a room by myself than I do when I'm streaming while playing. So, but it's different for different people. Some people can, some people it actually helps them focus, you know. Where did I die again? That's all the way up there. I need to figure out what in the world I've done with my mouse, because it's like it is barely moving. Okay, so that I'm like sliding my mouse all the way across my desk. So I can speed it up like that, but it's like feels like it doesn't quite go up all the way as much as it should. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it is XR. We talked about that earlier actually, the book visual. Have some want to tweak the way it looks a little bit. No, I'm using the what mouse is this again? Hold on. What mouse do I have, guys? This is the Logitech G502. Logitech G502. I mean, I can live with it for now. I'm not too worried about it. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna have to stop a little bit earlier today than usual because I've got a meeting coming up. A couple meetings actually, but before I wrap up, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. We didn't hit 8, which I don't love. Oh wait, maybe that, oh, that did it. That fixed it. Whoever said that, the little button, it's the little button behind the wheel. What was that? I think Lone Dog and Mr. Babinski, both of you said the same thing. One of you in 2 different locations, Twitch and YouTube. Thanks, guys. That fixed it. Yeah, it was that little tiny button. Cool. That feels a lot better. Yeah, so I'm going to real quick. We're going to switch over to Unity. Unity. Use a thumb trackball. Dude. Yeah, you bet I can. Thank you. Yeah, thumb trackballs, I don't know. I've heard people absolutely swear by those. Like if you get used to it. But I don't think I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could wrap my brain around that. Yeah, you bet. I'm not into the stream just yet. I'm gonna hop into Unity because I wanted to see how these performance optimizations feel. I don't know if it'll translate, you know, over stream or whatnot, performance wise, but I'm just gonna take a quick look. So you go online for the whole world to see you not thinking? I mean, in some cases it makes sense. I mean, I guess, like, if you could think about it that way, it's not thinking, it's just a different kind of thinking. You know? Kensington Pro trackball is a large finger trackball that wins awards. It's great. Yeah, I have a feeling it probably does feel like kind of a cheat code unlock if you can get really good with something like that. I don't know though. I can't divorce the thought of like turning without moving the mouse. There's something so like kind of programmed into me now with that to imagine just I don't know. Were you guys able to increase the size of your dev team with the latest round of funding? Yes. Yes, indeed we were. I never have enough space to my mouse. So I had the same problem until I decided to get one of those big like mouse pad mats. And now I literally have like, you know, my mouse pad mat is basically the width of two of my keyboards side by side and the length of like my full keyboard, or the depth of my full keyboard, I should say. So it's like this, I mean, it's basically like the entirety of what's in front of me is a mouse pad. And I just have my keyboard kind of off to the side a little bit, and then I have like this whole huge place. And it's like, never go back. Would never go back to just a small little mouse pad. Yeah. Yeah, the mouse pad mat. It's such a game changer. I love it so much. All right. Your whole desktop is your mouse pad. I mean, there you go. There you go. Why stop at just a section of your desk, right? When the whole thing can literally be and is your mouse pad. Well, the editor performance is crazy improved. I can say that. Like, so just, you know, just kind of moving around in the editor, like this used to be really chuggy. And it's like super smooth, no chug. So that's cool. But let's get boots on the ground here. Let's see. Executing play mode state changed callback. I'd pay for a large mouse mat with game mat printed on it. Oh, that'd be sick. That would be sick. Yes, Petite, we do. Yes, we do. Both in Avelia and Dimith, yeah. Yes, indeed. 90% of my pad is used by my cat. I hear that a lot from cat people. And I don't mean people that are cats. I mean people that have cats. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like Artois. I feel like we have a lot of cat people on the team and in the community. Well, there's a lot of cat people. Maybe I've just had bad experiences with cats. I think that's probably what it is. Had some bad experiences with cats. I don't have like a good affinity for them. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't hate cats. I don't hate cats at all. It's not really like that. It's more just like, do I want to live with a cat? Do I want a cat living in my home? And I don't know. I've never had like anything that's endeared me to them for whatever reason. I love animals. I think animals are amazing. You know, it's more just, yeah, like, I think Unity froze, by the way. I think that's what we're seeing here. It's a great performance presentation on Unity. Have it freeze. That's what you like to see. One second. Let me figure out what's going on here. Let's do this real quick. Mm-hmm. You love animals from a non-owner perspective. I see. I see that. EQ Aragon, not yet, but Charm is going to be coming in for the spring update, so not too far off now. All right, let's try this again. No. For those of you that have cats, that own cats, maybe you can answer this question for me. What causes a cat, a pet cat that you've had, let's say for, I don't know, for a reasonable amount of time? It's an adjusted family pet cat or whatever. Have you ever seen those videos where cats, and maybe that's not a fair setup, because maybe the cats in these videos aren't well adjusted, or they're not, they haven't been there a long time, whatever. I don't know. But I've seen these videos where cats will just like, something will trigger it and it will just start attacking what seems to be one of their owners and just like going crazy, just like leaping at them and like clawing and biting and like all this stuff. What's going on there? What causes something like that? Same thing that happens when a dog does it. I mean, maybe. I've never I've had lots of dogs. I mean, we have a dog currently. I've almost never been without a dog pet. So I've never had a dog attack like that like viciously attack like me as their owner, caretaker. Um, and I don't think it's something that happens often with cats or anything like that. I mean, I think it's pretty, I don't know, but I've just seen these videos where it's like they you can just tell the owner is like bewildered and doesn't know what's going on and like freaking out because the cat's like genuinely going at him. I've just always thought that was interesting because cats do seem to have kind of this peculiar like, I don't know, way of like, from the outside anyway, way of like interacting with people. Let's move you here. Let's try this again. Yeah. Irrationally scared, overstimulation, getting older. Something that the owner's done that we don't see in the video. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. The cat has a spicy personality. Yeah. Also have to know when cat has had enough attention and just wants to be left alone. Cats are like people sometimes. I mean, that's honestly one of the things that kind of interests me about cats is that like they just have such an interesting way about them. They have, I don't know. They just, it would be interesting to kind of learn a cat. Are cats like generally affectionate? I know they're not dogs and they're not the same, they don't show a lot of those things in the same way or whatever, but it's a very personality driven thing. Yeah. Hmm. That's funny. So is the headbutt and the nuzzling, is that kind of the main way cats like express that? Because with a dog, like, you know, when I want to like love on my dog, I can just go pick him up and just kind of give him a hug and kind of whatever, and he's all about it. You know, he's like no matter what, he's always. So I'm assuming with a cat, it's more like you don't do that. You don't you or you at least have like the tells of like, oh, you probably aren't feeling like that right now, so I'll let you be. Or like you guys have said, I guess they come to you quite a bit. That's cool. I've always thought that was interesting too. Like so many people talking about their cats getting like up on their desk, and I mean I've seen like co-stream enough to like see his cats, basically, and that seems consistent whenever I'm on call like with someone, on the team, and they have cats. Like I'll hear a lot about how their cats are like in their lap or walking on their keyboard or like. So it's interesting how they like to be kind of all up in the stuff. Oh, that's cool. And so do you, do cats like, I'm assuming they have different ways that they like to be, like, do they like head scratches? Do they like back scratches? Do they just want to be held? Like, how does that work? Hmm. RNG. That's funny. Got it. Okay. See, this is fascinating to me because I've never thought to ask, but I've never really had a cat pet, so I've always been curious about some of this stuff. Hmm. Okay. All right, lone dog. That sounds like a rare spawn kind of cat. Hmm. They seem very interesting indeed. Well, unfortunately, it seems like Unity has decided not to cooperate for whatever reason. We might. I just updated before I started the stream, so there could have been something that came through that is in process and being addressed. So it might be in a weird state on dev right now, but we'll have to save this for Wednesday's stream. But anyway, from what I've felt, at least kind of moving around the editor, major difference in how things are loading. And I knew that Kyle was working on a lot of stuff, so seems to be trending in a good direction performance-wise. So yeah, we'll take a closer look at it soon. Okay. Well, we had some good. Hey, what's up, Lord Hostel? We're actually just wrapping up, but I'm glad to see you stopping by. Hope your day is going good as well. We had some good discussion about healers today. I definitely am coming away with some key points related to the three different healers and some of their pain points right now. So we'll be definitely taking that into some heavy consideration as we're working through class mastery and just the kind of how we want to refine and finish off the different classes in terms of their full kits and what's performing well and what isn't, and things like that. But yeah, I think we got some cool happenings coming up here pretty soon that will involve kind of some insight into where things are headed. And I know the next Dev Diary is going to be a good one. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I'm not sure when we're going to announce what it is yet, but I think it'll be one that you'll look forward to. And then we've got the AMA coming up this week as well. And yeah, good stuff. Good stuff coming. Notes for the road: throw some love on Ranger since they're losing momentum. Haste. Heard. All right, my friends. Well, let's call it a day there. I am going to see you guys again very soon. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the follows, the subs, the just the support, and thanks for being patient, waiting for that spring, that big spring hit. It's exciting. I'll be back with you again on Wednesday, and we'll have even more to talk about then. So until then, take care. Have an awesome rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it may be. And until next time, guys, onward and upward. See you very, very soon. Adios.